Hey folks, Nathan here again for Star Wars Beyond the Films. Want to give you a little bit more detail about how things work for the X-Wing miniatures game. I have sort of piled up here all the many different things that will be necessary to play the game itself for any one miniature. We start out with the X-Wing miniature. This sucker is basically at this point, if you're talking measurements here, about 2 inches at the most in terms of its length here. That's, of course, the widest it gets, or the biggest it gets. About 1.5 in terms of its full width, etc., etc. Now, if you're going to put one of these together, you're going to need yourself a stand. You're going to need yourself a couple of prongs. Here's little plastic prongs. And you are going to need, as my phone goes off there in the other room, you're going to need to figure out which character you're going to be playing as. We're going to use the Red Squadron pilot here. Okay? So if I'm going to use Red Squadron pilot for this, I need the Red Squadron pilot ship token here. So I'm going to take that and stick it inside here. So there's a little arrow. Okay? So I put it in there. Arrow faces here. This is its firing arc here. All right? Then I'm going to take one of the prongs, put it in there. Take another prong on top of that, if I can get it kind of at a weird angle here. And then put the X-Wing on there facing whatever direction the firing arc faces, and that gives me my finished X-Wing model here ready for play. Now, let me pick up the iPod here. Alright, so I'm sitting there ready to play. Now let's say I've got my Red Squadron pilot over here. I'm ready to go. This is the card that attaches to this ship, and of course we know that because we can look at the ship token that is on it. However, we're not quite done setting it up yet. Since it's an X-Wing, we need an X-Wing maneuver dial. I will choose my maneuvers by scrolling through here. If it's green, it's really easy. I can lose a stress token. If it's white, it's sort of a normal movement, does nothing with stress tokens. If it is red, and I don't recall off the top of my head where the red is on this one. Yeah, there we go. If it's a red, like trying to pull a 180, that adds a stress token. So whatever it is, I'm going to put that over here. What I'll do on each turn is I'll choose whatever thing I want, put it face down, and eventually reveal them. And as they're revealed, they make their moves, okay? Now let's say that in the process of putting this all together, I have chosen, during putting my ship together, during my squad building phase, originally using points, to add in, you see down here, you can add in an astromech and a torpedo. You can tell that by the symbols on the back of these upgrade cards. I'm going to add an astromech. I'm going to add R2-D2 to this one. After executing a green maneuver, you may recover 1 shield up to your shield value. When you do a green maneuver, it means it's really easy. That usually means you remove a stress token. So let's say you pulled a maneuver that was just way too stressful on the character. That adds a stress token there, which has other gameplay effects. If you use a green maneuver, it gets rid of it. So now not only do I lose that, but on a green maneuver, but I will also wind up getting back one of my shields. And I say, well, shield tokens, what's the deal with the shields? He has a shield rating of 2. That means this ship, and generally you'll put the tokens kind of up here to the side. This ship has 2 shield tokens on it. So if I take damage, I lose a shield token across the way. Here's, of course, my other thing here, my secondary weapon, my proton torpedoes, the other thing I wanted to do in my upgrades. Now, and I said, well, wait a second. What'd you say about damage? If I were to take regular damage, I would have this card put here. Boom! Regular damage, and eventually it would take away shield tokens until I was cutting into my hull value, which is that yellow item there. I take damage based on the way that the dice rolls work. We'll look at that in a different video. If I were to take a critical hit, that is where this comes in. I take one of my damage cards here, and I flip it over. And yes, it counts as a hit, but it also, in this case, this card counts as 2 damage against your hull. Okay, so direct hit. So it winds up giving me 2 damage instead of 1. All these damage cards have a critical hit on the other side, which gives you some alternate effect. Now, let's say I was playing and I want to use my actions. You can take an action each turn. That eye represents a focus icon, something I can spend to change dice results. So if I've got a focus icon, I can stick a focus icon either by the card or out here by the ship. Let's say I want to use the other action there, that target lock token. Then let's say I'm attacking a TIE fighter. I might put my target lock B here, and then wherever the TIE fighter is, say it's out here somewhere, I'll put the target lock B next to that TIE fighter to tell me, hey, this one has been target locked by this ship. If I do take a critical hit, to remind me to always make sure that I use that, I need to put a little critical hit token out there next to my ship. So I got a few tokens around. I guess you can put the stress token out here too. I've seen people use them next to the ship and use them next to their cards over on the other side, though the shield tokens generally stay on the cards in that case. Now let's say, wait a second, this is a generic Red Squadron pilot. I can use more of these if I want to, because unless it's got a dot in front of it, like on the old Decipher game to denote it as unique, then I can use as many of this card as I want up to my squad points, whatever it is that I'm using to build my squad in the first place. So what if I've got two different Red Squadron pilots out there? Maybe I've got one from the starter set and I've got one from the X-Wing expansion pack. What I do then is I would number them. That's what those little number tokens are from. You got, so the white side, the black side. You can use the white because these are rebels. It doesn't really matter which, as long as you know which side is which. So okay, fine. One of these is going to go over here next to my card to denote that all this stuff here is for Rogues or a Red Squadron pilot number 2. But then I'm going to have to take my fighter and alter him. So let me sit this back down here, kind of where it was before, without knocking it over. Here's my fighter. Now I've got these other two. These get put into little slots on the base. There we go. So now, not only do I have my X-Wing, my two prongs, the base, and the card in it, I now have it denoted as this is Red Squadron Pilot number 2. And depending on how many expansion packs you picked up, you've got a ton of different numbers up into the latter teens so that you can mark these things. So you could play with a ton of different X-Wings of Red Squadron Pilot and just number them 2, 3, 4, whatever, just so long as you make sure that the third of the little markers that doesn't go onto the ship goes over there next to the card, so you know that that card is going to be used. So overall, we are talking about a ton of different markers and such that you might wind up using just for one ship. Your ship itself is going to be out there on the board or out there on your playing surface, possibly with tons of tokens next to it and other corresponding tokens next to other ships and such. Then your actual card itself is going to be tracking your damage, it's going to be tracking your upgrades, it's going to be tracking your maneuver dial, your shield tokens and such, maybe your ship ID. It's a lot of stuff to keep track of, but it does play out very, very well. It's not actually hard to keep track of it during the game itself. It's more something just to get used to the idea of needing to track each thing. Once you start playing, tracking these things is very, very easy. They give you enough tokens of enough types, and they're varied enough in their looks that it's pretty easy to make sure that you're always keeping track of everything you're meant to keep track of without having to turn around and consult the rule book. But of course, if you need to, the rule book has sort of a quick reference on the back of it to make it easy to track these things if you're new to playing. So that pretty much breaks down what we have here. Let's take one last look at the stats. So for this particular X-Wing, we have a pilot skill of 4. Pilot skill of 4 essentially means that when it comes to maneuvering, you get to maneuver last. Well, I guess another way of putting it, the higher the pilot skill, the later you wind up maneuvering. I'll put it that way. It's in ascending order. So basically, if you are a more skilled pilot, we assume that all these things are kind of happening at the same time, but the less skilled pilots don't get a chance to see what everybody else has done. They have to go first, where the more skilled ones get to sort of see the bigger picture. When it comes to actually attacking, it goes the other way around. Higher skill values go first. So you have a better shot at taking out your enemy rather than them taking you out before you can do anything. Kind of a nice, cool mechanic there. And that's that orange 4. You have a primary weapon, which is 3 here. That means you roll 3 red attack dice. An agility value of 2, you roll 2 green defense dice. We'll see how the dice work later. 3 is your hull value, the amount of damage your ship can actually take before it's destroyed. 2 is your shield value. Once those are gone, then the damage starts cutting into your hull itself. These are the actions that can be taken. These are the upgrades that can be used. That is the amount of squad points it costs to use the card in the process of putting things together. That is your pilot name, type of ship, and in this case, there's no special actions that they can take, no special text for this pilot. So essentially what you got there is lore, very much like you would see on the old Decipher card game up at the top. Your upgrade cards also have information there. In this case, we have ranges of 2 and 3. We have an attack value of 4, which means 4 red dice, more than actually come in the starter set here. You have your information, you have what type it is, and you have there the number of squad points it costs to actually put this thing onto your ship. Same thing with R2-D2 over here, his text. Notice the dot there, there can only be one of those in play. You got your astromech symbol there to tell you what kind of upgrade it is, and a squad point value of 4 when you're actually pulling things together. Generally, a starting game starts with about 100 points. Not talking the starter set, but when you start out a regular game, about 100 points is what you're going to want to use. Although I think they suggest about 40 if you're using the original starter set, rather than just the pre-starting scenarios that they have set up for you. So lots of stuff to keep track of. On your ship, it keeps track of your pilot skill, primary weapon, agility value, hull value, and shield value all right there for you, along with the actions possible. So it's nice to see everything there all in one place. It doesn't tell you what upgrades are available or the text, but that's why you've got the card. Nicely done as far as being able to pull together all these mechanics into something that may look complex, but is deceptively complex in the sense that it is actually pretty darn simple once you start playing. I think you're going to like the game once you try it out, but do make sure that you take good care of these ships. They are nice and all, but they're plastic. And they're not bendable plastic really much either. They don't give as much as the Wizards of the Coast ones did from the miniatures game they had. And they're not metal like, say, the Titanium series stuff. So you are going to want to transport them very, very carefully. I'd suggest something like a tackle box or something so that they don't bump into each other too much and they got little spaces to fit into. So anyway, that's essentially the anatomy of a Starfighter as we see for the X-Wing Miniatures game. We'll be back with more, and you can catch the show, Star Wars Beyond the Films, at StarWarsReport.com as always. Thanks for watching.